The 3 steps to improve your stamina as a soccer player. That is the topic of today's video. If you're new here, my name is Andy. I'm a physio from right outside New York, and I help soccer players get faster, stronger, and stay as healthy as possible. So a lot of players have the goal of improving their stamina, and it's often brought about in a phrase that is very, very vague, meaning, I just want to improve my fitness. Well, you have to actually work backwards from your end goal. And that end goal has to be, what specific actions on the field are keeping me from playing 90 minutes, and how do I best prepare myself physically in order to make that not be a limitation? And this all starts by step 1, which is measuring your fitness. You can't just rely on an eye test or a test of feeling, being like, oh, I feel fit, I feel like I'm ready, versus I don't feel fit, I don't feel... You have to be able to objectively measure your fitness in order to truly see if it's improving. Now, there are all sorts of tests to determine and measure this. It could easily be as simple as a yo-yo, a beep test, or even a 30-15. And if you want to see that, the 30-15 is actually my favorite test. You can see it in the link in my description. But you have to measure it. You have to. If that is your number one goal, there's no way you could have a goal without it being measured. Now, the next step to improving your fitness is to think to yourself and to really reflect, do I have a duration issue or do I have an intensity issue? Now, let's say you're an older player or you're out of shape coming back from injury. Your number one problem might just be to stay on the pitch for 90 minutes. Chances are you need to do some aerobic and anaerobic conditioning in order to boost your overall fitness. Now, this is very different from the player who is able to stay on the field for 90 minutes, but just can't be as explosive, as powerful, and as fit in those final minutes of the match. These players, they don't have a duration issue. They can stay on the pitch for 120 minutes if they had to, but after a while, after a set minute marker, they're unable to execute the actions that make them the player that they are, because they're tired, thus leaving them on the field as not an asset, but yet a liability. Which leads me to step 3, which is actually realizing, A, do you have a duration issue or do you have an intensity issue? And B, being step 3, how do I make actions in order to improve my training based off of this? Now, it's very cliche to simply say, if you want to be more fit, just play more football, which honestly, in some cases is an option. If you're only training once or twice a week and you want to improve your fitness, well, yes, you should be playing more to improve your fitness. But if you feel like that's not really making the cut for you, maybe you need to do some more endurance-based training on your own. And this is when step 2 becomes very vital, because the training to improve your overall capacity to play for 90 minutes is very, very different from the training that you would do in order to become a more powerful and explosive player over 90 minutes. One is aerobic training, one is aerobic training, and they're very, very different. Now, let me give you guys a real practical example that I actually worked on with a player in order to improve his match fitness. He's an amateur player playing, 3 times a week or so after work as an adult, and he wanted to improve his fitness as a midfielder because he specifically said that he was unable to make strong, powerful actions in small spaces towards the end of the game, and that kind of died out around minutes 70, 75 or so. And going into a playoff environment, he wanted to work on that in order to become more explosive and contribute value to the team past the minute 70 mark. So what did we do? We actually measured his baseline fitness. We took him through a 30-15 test, and we got a score based off of that. And we were able to make a conditioning program specific to him and his current fitness level in order to improve his aerobic capacity. Secondly, we tackled that anaerobic as well because we looked at the actions that he struggled with towards the end of the match, being explosive in small spaces. So on top of his conditioning work to improve his aerobic capacity, we also did work specific to the actions that he had difficulty with under a fatigue state after doing his aerobic work. And just after a few weeks, his fitness improved and he was able to produce his moments of magic longer in matches when it really, really mattered. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, the 3 tips to improving your stamina: start by measuring your fitness and then get really specific about your goals. See, do I want to play for longer or do I want to be more impactful in the time that I'm playing? And from there, execute a training plan that's specific to your goals, your wants, your needs. And from there, your fitness will improve. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace and love.